Good morning, everybody. At long last, we're going to continue the Woodstock review series today with a Netflix documentary called Trainwreck Woodstock 99, and which is kind of an understatement because Woodstock 99 was a disaster area. And this documentary basically details the disaster area that was Woodstock 99 from its inception to its apocalyptic end. And in my view, they should have stopped after Woodstock 94 because Woodstock 94 was actually good. They had a lot of good bands, and it was still the spirit of the first Woodstock, which was there was hardly any violence or whatever. But as far as Woodstock 99 goes, it was just horrible. I didn't see it, but after watching this documentary, it was just I was appalled. All the bands, with the exception of a couple, which I will get to in a minute, all the bands were crap. There was aside from the three artists I'm going to mention in a minute, there was no good music. Everybody was high. There was a lot of mismanagement as far as the organizers go, and it was just crap. And so I think I think they should have stopped after 94, because 99 was just a bloodbath. And as far as the three artists that were actually good, James Brown, and he refused to play till he got paid, which I think he should have refused to play on principle, and Willie Nelson. Now, I felt so sorry for Willie, having to play in the midst of all this carnage that was Woodstock 99, and and Sheryl Crow. Where do I begin? I felt so sorry for Sheryl Crow because not only did she have to play amidst all this crap, but she got sexually propositioned, by drugged out, audience members. I mean, it was just horrible. I felt so sorry for her, and I, remember watching her documentary, Cheryl, which, by the way, we will be reviewing in a later video, where she said that it was basically just she felt highly uncomfortable to be playing Woodstock 99, and I think Willie, James Brown, and Cheryl were way out of place, they were not, they shouldn't have been playing, Woodstock 99, because the crowd was a bunch of stoned out metalheads, and, it was just horrible. And, it lasted 3 days, as the other Woodstocks did. But it, and I can't remember which artist was, toward the end of the third night, I believe, there was there was riots going on, and I can't remember what artist it was, but one artist incited the riot. He encouraged the crowd to go crazy and riot. I mean, it looked like a war zone, and they it was held on a military on a military um, base, and that's not, you know there were security problems. They hired people to do security that didn't know what the heck they were doing. And it was just a mess. And it was after Woodstock '99 that they basically said no more Woodstocks. Although they did try and do something for the 50th anniversary a couple years ago, but that didn't come to pass. And I shudder to think of the bands that would have played the 50th anniversary Woodstock. It was, 99 probably 99 shouldn't have happened. It was it was it was just horrible. I mean, there were all these drugs flying around, and you know, it was just the spirit of Woodstock was severely uh, lost at '99. It was just horrible. And this documentary, this documentary shows you that in full force. And I just hated watching the footage from Woodstock '99, because you know I think they were trying to hold on to something that died a long time ago. And but and I remember at the during the first episode of the Woodstock '99 train wreck documentary. They were saying some of the audience members that they interviewed some of the audience members that were there, and some of the audience members said, in retrospect, they were just there to get high and you know and stuff and have sex and all that. It so I could basically tell where most of the audience members' heads were just from watching those interviews. And by the way, this came out on Netflix in 2022. I hope you enjoy this, and I warn you, if you do watch this, it does get a little graphic. I give this 1 star. Shot and produced by Adam Barrow. Audio and video provided by Pixabay, WeVideo, and the YouTube Music Library. Photo taken from Google Images. Screen recording taken from Wikipedia.